Well, hello, everybody. I am so excited to have y'all here today because I have an incredible guest for you. Essence Festival is on its way, and there's going to be some opening panels that you are not going to want to miss. The people on the panels are going to help empower you and get you engaged in the process of money, finances, how to unlock opportunity. And I'm here with Benson Webb today, a dynamic force when it comes to unlocking capital, championing diversity for founders, and changing how the investment game is played. Okay. He doesn't just talk equity, he funds it, he builds it, he backs it with strategy. Benson's voice in this conversation is critical because he's not waiting for systems to shift. He's out there shifting them for you. Now, if you're serious about pitching with purpose and partnering with power, this is definitely a man that you are going to want to meet and a conversation that you are going to want to be in on. So without further ado, let's welcome Benson Webb. Hey.
Well, Tanya, I must admit you did a wonderful job. Oh man, I might need to hire you some PR myself on this one. I don't think anyone speak about me so highly. So I appreciate you.
I'm thrilled to have you here. First, I want you to tell the people how you feel about being a part of Essence Fest this year.
I feel grateful. I feel blessed because I know that this is what my purpose aligns with, helping people that look like us make sure they understand the terms and the conversation that are being had, right? Because in finance, when it comes down to money, we found that you can make a lot of money if you don't really tell people what you're talking about, right? When you talk about terms like assets, liabilities, net worth, if you don't have the conversation all day, every day, it's those words aren't you using. You're not using those words, so you might not be familiar with them. So when people that have that knowledge forward. So the goal here for me and what we're doing and what I plan to have happen when we work with each other at Essence is that we get clarity around things. We understand what's out there for us and the options we deserve to have and the knowledge that we deserve to know. So that's what I'm excited about at Essence and bringing that to the people that deserve it.
I love to hear that. Listen, I want you to tell me and the people, because you've been on both sides of the pitch, right? You've been the person evaluating and the one advising. What's the first thing that you look for when founders step up?
Great question. So I look for clarity around what you're discussing, right? Because going back to using terms that people don't necessarily use. As a person who's been on both sides of it, I would say early on, as a salesperson, as a rep, you really a lot of times don't know exactly what you're selling. You just know you have to at a certain level. Once you have that understanding, you know, oh, this person may need this, person may need not need this. But if I don't understand exactly what I'm pitching, what I'm selling, it doesn't really matter who you are, if this fits you or not. I just need to make the sale. So when I listen to founders discuss different funds, have a different conversation, and pitch these different opportunities that are there, if you're not familiar, if you're not used to the terminology, everything they say might sound good, it might sound great. Someone tells you can make half your money back or double your money in the next 2 weeks. Hey, that sounds like the best thing walking since sliced bread. But when you understand the terms and reality of the situation, there's a lot of risk that might come with that type of return. Not to say it's impossible, but probable, maybe not. So understanding that they, as a founder, as the point pitching it, understand exactly what they're talking about, it'll show up, right? You can kind of tell someone knows what you're saying as long as I have. And my goal is to make sure everyone that I go into the room with, whoever hires me as a consultant to have these conversations, they know that the mysticism around everything will be deciphered because they have someone who can help them understand it. So the big thing is knowing that these founders know what they're talking about and know there's people not just going to take whatever you tell us as word of bond, right? We can always go back, we can check, we can double check, we can make sure whatever when someone pitches to us, it makes sense, right? Because you can give us all the bells and whistles, you can continue to tell us all these dreams we want to hear, but that doesn't do anything for people. We need real results. We need reality. And when we speak in clear terms, everyone has a clear understanding. And that's the only way we can succeed if we know what's going on.
Yes, yes, I love that. Now, listen. One more thing. I'm not going to give them, I'm not giving y'all all the good stuff, but I have a couple questions because I want you to be engaged and want to go out and see the rest of this conversation and meet Benson live. But I do want to know, founders are often told to build relationships. We know that this is a game of relationships, but let's keep it real. What does real relationship building look like with investors? What does that look like? How do you make that happen? Because everybody feels like you're coming to them with your hands out. So
Hmm.
are they really being engaged? Is there an authentic opportunity here? How do you make that authentic connection?
That's a wonderful question. Once again, I'm always going to go back to that clarity piece because when people know what's going on, we can make decisions for ourselves that's going to put us in a better position. So, really understanding what people are looking for. So, again, networking, going out, having these conversations, meeting people where they are. We realize that I've learned this big time from the work I've done, and really with the credit union that we just launched, Arise Community Credit Union, had to plug that in there real quick. First black led credit union in the state of Minnesota and the latest one since a 23-year hiatus. So just hearing the community say, hey, we need some place to put our money that works for us, right? All these big banks, all these national banks, yeah, they have these pledges, have these different things that they do. But when being, like I like to say, helping black people stop being cool, people tend to stop doing it. They tend to pull those resources back and make it hard for people to really sustain themselves. So the community needed a place where they can park the money that's safe, that can provide them some level of protection and preservation of the capital, while still making sure the money works for them in their community. So getting back to understanding what you're looking for and understand what people are looking for. And if you can meet the needs of the community because you listen to the community, you there. So when you build relationships, build it with intention, right? I'm the type of person that I can try to excuse me, kick it with you. We can chill together and everything like that. So that's where I feel real relationships bound because one thing I was taught when I was growing up, when I was going into the workforce, is that be around people that can stand at least tolerate for 8 to 9 hours that you're working with them. If you're working in a cubicle, you don't want to be around, honestly, around a person that's gonna make life suck. Because we're gonna be here for half our life anyway. So to have a person who reach people where they are, don't try to pay, hey, you have to be up here wherever you are. Let's work on that. Because I believe that people can build themselves up. So making sure I have that openness, right? Help people say, hey, it's okay if you don't understand. I don't understand everything myself. So making it to where people feel comfortable. So that's one big thing around making relationships. It's bring comfort to people. People are already stressed out with everything else in the day. Don't try to be an expert. Try to meet them where they are, reach their needs, and help them where they are because people will always appreciate who you are and how you treat them when they don't have everything together just yet, when they're learning early stages. They appreciate that guidance. So when you build relationships, build it with the intent of making sure the other person leaves with something of value.
Mm.
You don't want to go into relationships trying to take everything. No one's going to be in one relationship with you. You're going to find yourself on the outside looking in, wondering why people don't want to work with you. If every time we work together, I feel like I'm getting my essence taken away from me, I'm going to stop doing it because people want to protect their peace at the end of the day. They might not make that change to protect their peace as quickly as they would like to, but still, that protection, that peace, people want that. And if you're not going to bring that and you're going to be someone who is taking away, it's going to be hard to build the relationships. And everybody likes the person that's their friend, right? Everybody likes to help their friend. So if you can be people's friend, that doesn't mean, forego your own values or principles and being who you are. But still, at the same time, people look out for people that they look out for, who look out for them, and it's usually their friends. So that'll be one of the key things I would say to building relationships to kind of focus on there.
I want to follow up with that though. You said something of value. How is someone supposed to know what is of value to the person they're trying to connect with? And I ask that because, I've seen young founders
Mm-hmm.
that are building some incredible, maybe apps or services, great built businesses. They're beyond proof of concept. They're actually working now. But
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, they still can't convey that value to the person they're trying to get to invest in them. And at the same time, we know that there have been investors that have
Mm-hmm.
invested in concepts and no proof of concept. So, how do you really lock in on what's valuable to that person that you're speaking of? Because you've seen it both ways. You've seen them like the concept, and you've seen them with proof of concept and still not interested.
Hmm. So you have to listen to the market because there's a lot of great people out there, a lot of intelligent people out there that are doing the work that founders do, raising capital, bringing in the people. But a lot of times we think for our clients versus listening to our clients, listen to the market. Yeah, you can be as educated as possible, got all the degrees, all the connected to what the people need. You're going to have a good or great marketing team by you to make them want to have it. So now you're going between needs and wants. And if you can't help identify someone's need, not let alone their want, you really aren't going to have something. Nothing that goes deeper than like these businesses in general. When people start businesses, they start the business with the idea that people are just going to automatically want to buy from them. People have to be, I'm so convinced, but an age when tariffs are a situation and there's some political instability, not that it's political, but some economical instability here, people are being more fearful in how they spend money. So one big thing is to pay attention to the business cycle. That's one thing that pay a lot of attention to because they don't know where we are in the market. So you might have something valuable now while we're in a, let's say, a booming market or a, let's say, a contractionary economy, but it might not be of value as another security would be or another investment would be. So knowing where the market is. So for an example, we can take a look at gold, right? If you invested in gold stock, you probably notice, or gold itself, you probably notice a rise in the value. Well, that's due to a lot of fearfulness in the market itself, and people tend to run assets that hold their value. So if I was in the business of selling gold bars or investing in gold, now will be the time that I see a great influx of investors' dollars versus the opposite if we're in more of a, I would say, expanding economy. The stocks are doing well, they have some more stability there. People tend to take their money to those capital markets where now,
Mhm.
if you are invested in those type of stocks, you can see more counter-cyclical security or counter-cyclical type of asset. And I know I'm throwing a bunch of big words at people. They may not be familiar with them, but hey, this is what I do. And if you need help with that, I'm happy to help with that understanding. But I would say that's the biggest thing is understanding the business at a deeper level. So understand the macro behind the micro. That's where the big things, I think, as founders, we now say we because I tend to have the same issues. I'm not perfect. We tend to overlook where the market is because maybe we did so great in the first quarter, the first year, the first even first decade of us being open, but now we start to see a slump and we wonder what's happening. Well, the economy has changed, the economy has shifted, and if you want to be that company that lasts forever in a lifetime to bring that generational wealth that we all want to get to, you got to pay attention to where we are in the markets.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Before I let you go,
Hmm.
what do you want your legacy to be? With all of the work that you are doing, what's your legacy?
That's a wonderful question, Tanya. And I would say, if I can sum it up into cases, that we as a people will never have equality until we have equity in the system we're in. That's the legacy I want to leave. You can look back at the history of America, the history of these states, and notice that in the beginning, it didn't matter if you was a white man come from somewhere. If you didn't have any land here, you didn't have any equity in the state, in the country itself, you didn't get a vote. So equity in the system is the biggest thing until we do understand the terms they use, the words they use, the language they speak, we'll always be waiting for someone to break it down to us, to dumb it down. And by that point, if they're not looking out for our best interest, they're going to give us everything that doesn't even matter at this point. You give us the back end of things. So we have to understand if we want true equality. And this is something that I noticed when I worked as a project manager for the Black Farmer Equity Initiative. And this is why it kind of goes back to the idea that when it's cool to help Black people, because at the time we had the George Floyd situation where George Floyd was murdered, and a lot of companies in Minnesota wanted to, save face to show like, hey, we support. So well and good, we was able to increase Black spend with Cargill by 533%. So a lot of value came from the idea that a lot of those Black farmers didn't want handouts. They didn't need handouts. They just need opportunities. And until we have a way to make the opportunities for ourselves, we will always be waiting for a handout. That's why I wanted to make sure, as a founding member of the board for the Rise led credit union, that we understand we have the power to use our economics to build a life that we want. And you can't come to somebody's table saying, hey, give us this, if we have nothing to show for it, if we have nothing to barter with. That's how kingdoms are built. This is how dynasties are built. It's built off of, hey, I have something that you need. And until we find some equality here, until we get some type of, I'm giving you this, I want something back in return, we don't get that until we have equity in the system that we live in. Because until then, we'll always be consumers and not the leaders.
I hear you. Well, thank you so much for being here. What are you looking forward to at Essence?
I'm looking forward to being around people. That's what I look forward to. I'm looking forward to being around folks that are working hard in the industry, putting in the work that we desperately need to be done, and try to find a way that we can all collaborate with each other to make this world a better place that we want to live. And we always got to pretend, or not pretend, but remind ourselves that we got to be the change we want to see. So if I can get out
Yeah.
and have that message pushed out to the people, I think that's what I'm most likely looking forward to.
I love it. I love to hear it. Let the people know how they can get in touch with you, stay connected to you, and follow you, especially if they're not going to be able to make it out to Essence, but still want to suck up some of that great knowledge that you have.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. So, there's a few ways we can work with each other. So, as a financial planner and an investment manager at Golden Web Capital, we can work together as a financial plan. I put together a financial plan for you, and you can reach me there at www.goldenwebcapital.com. And it's going to be 1B in the Golden Web, kind of like how it's on my shirt. Kind of a design flaw. My last name has two B's in it, but Web for Golden Web Capital only has 1B in it. So you can reach me there. But my main thing is financial education. If you're looking to learn more about the terms that I've thrown out there at you, those big terms that can make or break your ability to live the lifestyle you want, we teach all of that at Weston Financial Institute. And it's WESTAN Financial Institute. And there we teach classes. We have classes almost every day. We talk about different commodities, different companies, different ways to prepare. We can build your own financial plan, understand the why behind your buy from a behavioral finance standpoint. We have it all. So if you want to learn more and just get educated on the things that you need to know, you can reach me there at Weston. So the website, excuse me, is westonfi.org. So Weston, WESTAN, FI.org. Or you can reach us at info@weston.org, or you can reach us by phone at 334-413-1799. And either way, I'm looking forward to working with you all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Have a great time at Essence. Do me a favor and please keep in touch. And if there's anything else that we can do for you, please let us know. Because once you are a part of the Leaders and Learners family, you are always family. So keep me posted.
Well, now I'm excited. I'm glad I brought my family. I'll bring my little chair with me and everything. I'll bring my own. We're going to have a good time. I'll tell you that. We're going to have
Love
a
it.
good time.
Absolutely. You guys take it easy and thanks for being here.
All righty.
Hey, thanks for showing up to the podcast where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. When you get a sec, take a moment, leave a comment. What you think about today's episode, and share it with someone that you know could use the gems that were dropped today. Follow and subscribe. You don't want to miss who's coming up next. You never know who could show up here and what they could say. For your professional needs, marketing, PR, communications, and leadership, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Sand and Shores, or hit us up at sandandshores.com. Again, thanks so much for showing up. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.